Hello everyone. Today's podcast is all about travel essentials for the people who are looking forward to go abroad. So today let's discuss about travel essentials with Miss Chandima from Destiny Educations. So Miss Chandima, what is the most the travel essential that's needed, like important?
Okay, so actually, as a student, moving to another country is exciting. It is the time that they are starting their life alone. However, at the same time, if they actually plan about their journey, it would be very convenient because, say, when you're traveling, there are guidelines each airline has. So, for example, say if it's Sri Lankan or Emirates, if they're taking, they have luggage restrictions. Likewise, every airline has different restrictions given. So you have to understand there's the difference between what you want and what you need. So what you want is like we would think we need to take everything with us, but then within that 30 kilos or whatever the given amount, you must understand what you actually need. So to begin with, what I'm thinking is if they categorize, like say under few headings, like say the important documents, electronics, then medicine, like that. So say for example, if you talk about the most essential documents initially, what you need to take, then under that you can actually think about your passport, your visas, then say because nowadays it's almost the e-visas, so you have to have a printed e-visa copy, then your say the your offer letter from the university, then your accommodation. So all those documents has to be in one of the files which is with you in person. So you have to make sure that it goes in person and not in your check-in luggage,
Sure.
right? And then also you have to think about the electronics that you are going to carry. So for example, your mobile phone. So when it is your mobile phone, you have to make sure you have the charger. If you have a power bank, then yes. Then you need to have a charger that is adaptable to any destination, right? Because some of the other countries, like say for example, if it is Middle East, what we are having might not actually
True.
be compatible there, right? So things like that. And then also you have to understand, most importantly, you need to think about your medicine because you're going to live there alone. And also when you go to another country, sometimes the medicine that they prescribe may not actually, the things that would work for us.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, the little things like, take your Panadols, the paracetamol, or, Samahan, all those things. And then, especially some of the food might not work with you, so you have to ensure you have any tablets for vomiting,
True.
diarrhea. You have to think about all those things, essentials like vitamin C, piriton. So all those things you must have another small first aid pack with you.
Okay.
Right. And also most important factor is when you're carrying your hand luggage, right? Because you are given 7 kilos of hand luggage, which you have to have most essentials in that 7 kilos.
True.
The thing that we overlook is you need to have a padlock. You must
For the
have
safety.
a padlock in that 7 kilos hand luggage that you are carrying, because you most definitely will store it in the overhead compartment, right? Not only that, when you are boarding, sometimes right at the door, the people at the cargo might take your luggage because the overhead compartments have already got full. At that time, you can't say, look, I don't have a padlock, so you can't go on arguing with those people. So might as well you always have a padlock in that hand carrier, so that either you have to stow it away from where you're seated, things like that. And another thing is you have to understand you are now the regulations have changed, so you can't have your laptop in one carrier, and then you can't have another huge handbag as another hand carrier, and then your hand luggage. So there are like few little bags. Always try to travel light, right? So that you are not you're going with not knowing where you are going to go, you have that excitement, the butterflies running in your
Exactly, true,
right?
true.
So
Yeah.
then at the same time you haven't so many luggages with you need to think about. So just travel light. uh, I always advise people to have those little pouches around your
Yeah, true.
waist so that you can keep your
Mm.
most valuables like your cards, credit cards, your phone, and your money,
Boarding pass and
boarding
everything. Yeah.
pass and passports, things like that. And then on your maybe the laptop bag, you can have your document file with you, so that those are the most essentials. The other things you can put in your hand luggage, so that if they take it for luggage or if you store it a little away, it's still okay, it's safe, right? So basically you need to just consider what you actually are carrying. And I think the other most important factor is your clothing,
True. That comes,
right?
yeah.
Because we tend to pack everything, and then at the luggage counter, checking counter, you could be overweight, so that you have to unpack that, and then probably you'll have to give it to people who had come to drop you. So that is too much of hassle. So just have essentials, like you need to be considered the country that you're going. So say for example, if you're going to UK, Canada, Australia, they have the weather changes, so you have to be ready for winter. So just have one good winter jacket, right?
Okay.
And maybe a cardigan or something, because in between when it is like autumn, you just can have like a cardigan. Then maybe jeans, right? Have a few jeans, and then comfort shoes. Then also you must have something, like say for example, for a guy, you should have your suit,
Yeah,
right?
true.
For a lady, you must carry a nice decent
Like an
dress,
official dress, yeah.
official wear, because you might have to go for events in
Yeah.
your university, things like that. So what I advise is you always think about in those categories. Before you go, you make a little note of what you actually need to carry.
True.
You have everything laid out, right? And after that you just pick what actually you really need, and then you pack your bag. Make sure you wait before you leave, so you are in between that weight limit, so that you can just start it smooth before you even in getting into that panic
Yeah,
mode at
true,
the end.
true. So, when it comes to money, money is a very important subject. So, when it comes to money, like when traveling, how are you supposed to, you think that we can travel, like, through cash or card? Like, what would you suggest?
Well, yeah, that's a very important factor. Like what I suggest when you are traveling to a country, say for example, whatever the country you are traveling, you must have that local currency. I advise you change it from here itself, at least some amount of currency into that local currency, and the rest of it you can take it in maybe US dollars, or yeah, maybe US dollars. But always have ready cash with you, because once you arrive at the airport, you can't I advise don't go looking for places to change money. You need to pay for your taxis, things like that. Once you go into the accommodation, you need to have a little bit of cash, probably to pick some food. So you always have to have some amount of cash with you. The rest of it you can have it in your credit cards. I also advise when before you go, activate, most important thing is activate your credit cards, debit cards, because if you have not informed your bank, the local banks, once you go abroad, once you leave this auspice, you cannot
Yeah,
use
true,
it.
true, true.
So you have to inform the banks that you are traveling to make it international usable. So your cards are there, then yes. And if you have any international payment methods, like certain countries can pay through certain apps, you can download it once you go there, and then top up those cards. uh, Other than that, what I would suggest is before you go, if you have any bank apps, make sure you have downloaded all those apps, so you can use them, payment methods, online payment methods. So likewise, I said, make sure you have your currencies with you, the local currencies, and if you want to have balance, have it in your dollars, or best is have it in US dollars. And once you go there, over the time you would be able to open a bank account, then you can have the money stored there.
So now let's get into this whole phone situation. Okay. So is it okay better to go to like a local SIM, get a local SIM card or to go international roaming?
Well, I don't suggest international roaming. You can get a thundering bill. However, at the point of traveling, you don't have an international SIM card, so it's better to have it activated some data plan.
Okay.
So once you go there, you are not getting charged for
Mm.
excessive usage of data or things like that. But as far as I know, every country you go, every destination at the airport, they sell SIM cards.
Mm.
Best thing is you purchase a SIM card at the airport,
Okay.
and then as soon as you go, then you can connect with your family.
Mm.
You can connect with your accommodation, the country that you are going, or with the
Sure.
university, whatever it is. But however, you need to sort it out. You need to really know what you're going to do. You just can't. The bottom line is you can't travel without a plan, right?
True.
So before you go, you need to plan. What is the data plan that is suitable for you for a short term, right? Even if you don't have a SIM card purchase availability at the airport, probably you can buy it outside, but that would take a day or two, right? So for that little duration, you must have some sort of a plan activated, and then once you go there, you can sort out a good SIM card.
So, we are leaving our family, our friends, our country, and then we go to another country, we get this homesick. It hits us so hard. So, what you would suggest, like, okay, what are the tips that you can, like, give our students to overcome it, at least to get some benefit out of
Some
it?
to
Yeah.
certain extent,
Yeah.
yeah. What I would like to say is be excited for that experience. Like not everyone getting that chance of experiencing a whole new life
Mm.
in a different country. So you are actually, if you are the student, you're actually privileged. So be excited for that life, to that journey. That's the first thing to overcome homesickness. You don't have to like say if, when you go to another country, keep in touch with your parents, keep them informed, maybe create a WhatsApp group or something, so you can always be in touch with your family. At the same time, be excited to create your own memories, right? That's the first thing in getting over this homesickness. So how to do that is very simple. As I said, you need to get active. I have seen people who would be living in countries for few years. Say if you go into their room, it looks like the first day you got that room, just that naked wall, and that's it.
So emptiness and everything.
Exactly. So the moment it gets empty, even you are empty.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to fill yourself with the surrounding. How you do it? Connect with people. Connect with these student groups. Get active in the university. There are a lot of recreation activities in the university that is offering for international students. Get linked with them, get into those things, and create your own set of friends. Friends are one of the best things you can have. Don't stay inside. Don't think, oh my god, I have to save every cent I'm earning. You can have a massive bank account. At the end of the day, you have not experienced your life.
True.
So one thing what I advise students is balance it. Save some amount, but experience that whole new life. Go out, enjoy that cuisines from that countries.
True.
Travel and see those places, because it's so different to our country. You have a lot to see. So travel around, with maybe one or two friends that you are get connected with. And the other thing what I would like to say is, you create a home in your own living space, right? Bring few pictures, or you can print it when you once you go there. Decorate your room nicely. Have some little corner where you can say your little
Yeah,
comfort area, right? You can sit down, do your little studies, a little paintings, do things. Because I would tell you, these countries has unlimited things you can explore. You need to explore them. Get into those societies where you are going to study. Yeah, do that, but don't stick to it.
Exactly.
There are, as I said, multiple opportunities. You can get into different clubs where they do creative arts, potteries, cooking experiences. So experience all those things. What I always say is, you're privileged to get a once in a lifetime experience. Live it
Mm.
without wasting it.
So, as you mentioned before, that when you're traveling alone, it will be like so much of nervous and everything. And even when it comes to parents' side, also they will be like, he or she. When it comes to most probably like when it's a girl, safety matters. So, what are the safety tips would you suggest us?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a very important factor because you're actually going to completely unknown
Yeah,
destination, right?
true.
So you don't know the surrounding, you don't know the people. Could be the first time you're traveling,
Yeah.
so you really need to think about all those things. So what I first of all say is be aware and be mindful.
Mm.
Okay, you really have to know where you're going. You need to for example, I would just wanted to say, there was a student who at the airport, the airport gives a document, stamped document at the immigration. That student has lost, he had dropped it somewhere.
Oh,
Don't do things like that. You need to be very mindful of what you're doing, what you're carrying, what you're receiving, right? You can't of course you could be at the age of 17, 18, but if you're going for international education, that means you have to act like an adult. You need to be a little, aware of what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you don't have anyone behind telling you what to do, what not to do, right? If you're taking that step, you also have to act in that particular way.
Mm.
That is the first thing I need to tell everyone. Then, as I told you at the beginning, you need to keep your most important documents, your money, everything safe. So you need to, again, as I said, keep them locked and key, keep it with you.
Mm.
That's the most important thing. Even at the aircraft, things can go missing, especially money. If you just store all the money in luggage and put it somewhere else, it can just go missing. So all those essentials, you keep it with you. Then the other thing what I need to just tell you is, just do a little study in the area that you're going.
Mm.
So what I always would like to tell you is, when you arrive at a place, get familiarized with the area,
Mm.
right? People can say this is here, that is here, you go here, you take this bus, but it's not like you actually do it, right? So you would be, most definitely you would be at least a day earlier than when the university is going to start.
Yeah, true.
So take that day to get familiarized with the area, go out, have a look at what is where, right? The grocery store, maybe a supermarket, where things are, and where the bus stand, so those things, when you know it, you are actually knowing the area.
True.
And the other most important thing is, you don't need to get friendly with everybody.
Mm.
You don't need to tell everyone what you are, where you are. This is my first time traveling. Don't get too familiar with unknown people, right? When you travel, you don't know who's sitting next to you. They can crack a conversation. You can talk to them. It's fine, but you don't need to pour your heart into a stranger, right? You are going for a purpose. Always keep in the back of your head why you're going there, right?
True.
And then at the same time, you are in charge of your own safety. There can be multiple people around you. You can stay in an accommodation that provides 24/7 security, for example, in Middle East.
Yeah, true.
But if you invite unknown people to your own accommodation, they can't provide safety.
Mm.
So I'm always telling all these students who's going there, you make a circle of friends, it's okay, but be mindful.
Yeah, to understand like who we are friendly with and everything.
Exactly.
True. True. That's a good one. That's a really good one. So, when you move to another country, they do have some certain cultural and traditional ethics. So, what would you talk about? Like, how would you fit in there? So, because people do have some different kind of culture, tradition. You are when you go there, you are so flabbergasted, you don't know what to do. So, what would you
Exactly.
say?
Yeah. So what you have to do is, first of all, you need to do a little research on the country that you go. For example, I would say, if somebody comes to your house, say, take it that like it's a
Mm.
very simple example. If somebody comes to your own home and offend you in certain way, you'd be like, you would be very displeased, and you get
Yeah.
obviously angry. So it's the same thing when you go to another country and you
Mm.
don't respect their culture, traditions, etiquette, right? So say if you go to a Middle Eastern country, see you're going to Dubai for your higher studies.
Mm.
It's a strict country that has different traditions that they very strictly follow. For example, if you travel there during the period of Ramadan,
Yeah.
right, you have to understand a lot of people will be fasting at the daytime. So if you start go eating, munching outside, you are offending them. You can actually get fined. You can actually get I think, I don't know, probably the police will, not if if they see you, acting like that, that could actually, go to the extent where you are, probably legally, or I don't know, in some certain way will be of very strict offense, right?
Mm.
So you have to understand the country you go, cultural, religious, all those traditions that they follow. You have to, one thing is, it is lovely to understand what they have, respect it, and certain things you also can be a part of it.
Yeah.
Say there are festivals that they have, so you can be a part of that festival.
Mm.
So actually you're living it with them. But most importantly, you can't just, go there and say, oh, what, I'm not following it, I'm not part of it, and just
Yeah.
totally do
True.
the
True. True.
opposite.
True. Mm.
That you would completely offend them. So I very strictly emphasize, where the country you're going, please do a little research, right? What exactly you need to follow. Certain things are very strict rules, right? You need to really understand it, and then be aware, and at that particular time you need to follow it.
True. That's so right.
So this is for you, all the students who's looking to travel to another country and start your life, your journey in a very exciting way. Plan it. That's my advice. Before you go to another country, before you even plan it, thinking about it, you need to plan. You need to have a better plan, and then you know where you're going. Do your research, and before you go, understand what you really have to carry. Because sometimes when you go to another country, you probably would have brought everything that you don't need. You will have to buy it. You will have to just spend your money buying it. So plan it, because the amount of things you can carry is very less. As I said, understand, respect, and then plan it very nicely, so that you can enjoy your time in another destination.
Thank you, Miss Chandima. So we will catch up in the next exciting episode with you.